Doug Holtz-Eakin, former director of the Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, now president of the American Action Forum. Doug, how are you? And good morning to you.
Good morning, Bill.
I want to get some justification here because you did a study yourself that I'll get to in a minute. But first, this is what the CBO says. $197 billion saved over 10 years, $700 billion saved over the next the 10 years, which I would assume is what, the 10 years after that? That's three and a half times in the second decade. Those are big, big claims, Doug.
At the foundation is the very simple economic fact that increased immigration would make us have a larger labor force, that have more skills, and we'd see a bigger economy. And as conservatives have argued for a long, long time, if you have pro-growth policies, you will generate more revenue from a bigger, stronger economy, and that's what's going on here.
But this is what your study did, too. And I mean, this is fascinating. I mean, these are huge numbers, too, Doug. Cut the deficit by $2.7 trillion over 10 years. That's what you believe. Raise the GDP by almost 1%. Raise per capita income by $1,700. That is a tall wish list. Defend that.
That's the results we got from a very big immigration reform. The CBO got smaller numbers, but it's a smaller reform. There will be about 10 million new legal immigrants into the U.S. over the next 10 years. That's their estimate. Importantly, Bill, about half of those will be here for employment or merit-based reasons. So they're chosen for their skills and their contribution to the economy. The result is about $1,000 per person in the U.S. under the CBO estimates. But these are still significant improvements in an economy that's been starved for jobs for years and really needs a jump start.
Well, label me skeptical, only because I'm just they'll be on the rolls, which means you can tax them and collect more money. Is that how the deficit is reduced?
Absolutely. We have about $1.5 trillion in new revenues over the second 10 years in this bill. We have about $460 billion in new revenues over the first 10 years in the CBO estimate. That's without any tax increases. That's a tribute to better economic performance.
You just this week, along with what, about 110 conservative economists, you all put together this study. You put together a letter, and you signed it. Now,
yes, we did.
I mean, did you flip the switch? Is that all of a sudden you became a supporter of immigration reform?
For a long time, the people on that letter and others have supported pro-growth policies for the United States. That includes arguments for useful imports of capital, useful imports of labor, useful imports of goods and services. This is in that tradition. Economists of conservative stripe believe in the power of markets. They believe that free people pursuing their dreams will generate better economic outcomes, and the immigration reform that embeds that is one that it's very easy to support.
We will see if it happens. We were told it would happen by the end of the year, but there's a ways to go on that. Doug, thank you. Doug Holtz-Eakin,
thank you, Bill.
Former director of the CBO on that. Martha?